doorkeepers. Tam Brahmadandam Anivaranam Astrapugai. That curse, which is called as Brahmadanda, the curse of a Brahmana, Anivaranam Astrapugai, which cannot be counteracted by any kinds of weapons. Sadhyo Hare Anucharav Uru Bubhyatastat. Sadhya, immediately. Hare Anucharav, the devotees and the followers of Lord Hari, Uru Bibhyataha, they became extremely fearful, afraid. Tat Pada Graho, they fell down at the feet of the brāhmaṇas, Kumaras. Tat Pada Graho Apadatam, catching hold of the feet of the brāhmaṇas by falling down at their feet. Ati Katarena, in great anxiety. They wanted to reduce the severity of the situation. But once the curse is done, it cannot be counteracted. This verse says, Avadharya Goram, the curse has been itiritam, the curse has been pronounced, which cannot be counteracted. So in the translation wise it says, when the doormen of the Vaikuṇṭhaloka, Ubhav, who were certainly devotees of the Lord, Hare Anicharav, found that they were going to be cursed by the brāhmaṇas, Tesham itiritam avadharya goram, they at once became very much afraid. Sadhyaha uru bibhyataha, and fell down at the feet of the brāhmaṇas in great anxiety. Tat pada grahav apadatam atikatarena. For a brāhmaṇa's curse cannot be counteracted by any kind of weapon. Tam brahmadandam anivaranam astrapugai. So in the purport, Prabhupada is explaining about this entire situation manifested by chance. It is not that everyday affair it is. It is a very rare situation which has come. That's why it is said, although by chance the doormen committed a mistake by checking the brāhmaṇas from entering the gate of Vaikuṇṭha, they were at once aware of the gravity of the curse. So it is not a scheduled thing, it is out of blue. And because the doormen were also devotees of the Lord, they were able to understand their mistake and were terrified when the Kumaras were ready to curse them. Because they were also in the devotional platform, they could understand offending one more devotee, how serious impact it could create. Now generally in the material world, what happens? If somebody comes and scolds me, what will be my attitude? Somebody unnecessarily scolding me, how will I react back? Scold back. Next level, we may beat them back. We may hit them. He gave 1, I'll give 10. So this is the nature of material world. But in pure devotee's perspective, will they give back? So what Prabhupada says, when a brāhmana or Vaisnava curse someone in the angry mood, the person who is cursed does not take it upon himself to treat the brāhmanas or Vaisnavas in the same way. Ye yatama prapadyante, they will not do that. There are many examples. For instance, the sons of Kuvera were cursed by the great sage Narada, but they did not seek revenge in the same harsh way, but admitted it. Because they were intoxicated. When Narada Muni was passing by, they were naked, intoxicated, they were playing with women. So they did, but the women respected Narada Muni. They got out of the water and they went to a hiding place. They dressed themselves with whatever at that situation. But these people neglected Narada Muni. Is Narada Muni offended by the process? On the way when we go, we see hundreds of people lying on the floor doing all kinds of nonsense. So should we get offended by their behavior? But why did Narada Muni act in a harsh way? So that these people will not repeat that mistake for future somebody else comes. If in the future some other Vaishnavas come, they will not repeat this mistake once again. This is the whole and soul aim. Here also, when Jai Vijaya were cursed by the 4 Kumaras, they did not become harsh towards them. Rather, they submitted. That should be the way of treating Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. So, how Prabhupada is saying that what should be the mood? Because both are Vaishnavas. Now, how should the other person should react at the circumstances? And one more place. The best path to transcend all material curses and benedictions and take shelter of the Supreme Lord Krishna and remain in a transcendental position. Persons who have taken shelter of Krishna are very peaceful. They are never cursed by anyone, nor do they attempt to curse anyone. This is a transcendental position. So when you come to a liberated platform, you are not carried away by these curses or benedictions. Because you see everything on a spirit perspective. You are not disturbed by circumstances. So this is called as transcendental position. Next, one more place. One Brahmana cursed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To receive some blessings from the Brahmana when he was boy, he was voluntarily trying to give some service to the Brahmanas who were engaged in bathing in the Ganges. He will clear the place because the Brahmanas, after taking bath in the Ganges, would sit down, would chant mantra. So he would cleanse, he would wash his cloth, voluntarily he was doing that. So one Brahmana blessed him, my dear boy, you will be very happy in your family life. You will have a very good wife, you will be very in opulent position. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was blocking the ears. The Brahmana said, who is this? No, this is not blessing, sir. Oh, it is not blessing? Then you will never be happy in your family life. This is my benediction. Oh, this is all right. Then he took sannyas. So, being happy in the family life means it is furthermore entanglement into the material world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I don't want that kind of blessings. You bless me in such a way that I will become renounced from this material world fast. Okay, no more happiness in your family life. Thank you very much. Prabhupada says, this is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So actually what the circumstance was explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Every day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to organize Sankirtan party in Srivas Thakur's house. So it is a closed room party. Outsiders are not allowed. Only on invitation. So only specifically devotees who are matured in devotional service, only they will be allowed to take part into that party, Sankirtan. So many people were inquisitive, what is happening inside? Like whenever we close in the temple hall some program and we try to do something inside, everybody will be inquisitive, what is happening inside? They want to peep in, see in, if possible barge in inside. Something special is going on, which I am deprived of. Like when you do Abhishekam, outside the pandal there will be so many people, they want to go inside. See, that is the attitude or nature of the people, inquisitiveness, curiosity. So here, the Brahmana became, he was not allowed to enter inside. So he became little disturbed. I am a Brahmana, why you are not allowing me? I am not a common man. So what happened? Arayeka vipra aila kirtana dekite dware kapata na paila bitare yaite. So one more Brahmana came there to have darshan. But since the doors were locked, he could not get entrance into the thing. So he could not go inside. Firi gela vipra ghare mane dukka pana. Because he was not allowed entrance, he was disturbed in his mind, he went back home. Aradina Prabhu ke kahe gangaya laga pana. So next day morning when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Ganges, he began to speak to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sapiba tomara muni panachi manodukka paita chindiya shape prachanda durmukha. This Brahmana is very well known for his harsh and cursing others. This attitude of this Brahmana was well known. So this person, he immediately broke his sacred thread and declared, I shall curse you, for your behavior has greatly aggrieved me. Samsara sukha tomara hauka vinasha. You will not have any pleasure in this material world. In your family life, it will not be any pleasurable ride. It is a bumpy ride, roller coaster ride it will be. Shapasuni prabhura chitte haila ullasa. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this curse, he became very happy within his mind. If somebody would have been cursed like one of us, what will be our attitude? Array, I have to suffer in this material world. People will be struggling hard. Array, what I have done, what I have done. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very happy. Prabhura shapa varta yei sune shraddhavan brahma shapa hoite tara hoye paritrana. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, anybody who hears this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being cursed, he becomes free from any brahmana shapas also. That benediction they are blessing upon us. So in that purport, Prabhupada explains, One should know with firm conviction that Lord being transcendental is never subject to any curse or benediction. In 10th canto, or in first canto of Bhagavatam, whenever Krishna was passing by, many brāhmaṇas, elderly Vaisnavas used to come. They used to have darshan of the Lord. And it is a duty of a brāhmaṇa, whenever they see any personality, they bless them with ashirvachana. So, is the blessings of the brāhmaṇas affect on the Lord? Can blessings of brāhmaṇas affect the Lord? Or curse of a brāhmaṇas can affect the Lord? So, Lord is transcendental position. None of our material blessings cannot have any impact on the Lord. But still, only ordinary living entities are subjected to curse and punishments of Yamaraja. Then whom it is applicable for? Only ordinary living entities are subjected to curse and punishments by Yamaraja. Lord is beyond the jurisdiction of material perspectives. As the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is beyond such punishments and benedictions. When one understands this fact with faith and love, he personally becomes free from all the curses uttered by brāhmaṇas or by anyone else. So, understanding in the proper mood the position of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the impact of the situation, even we become cleansed from all that unwanted things if we would have committed in past else lives. So, this is a way how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has blessed all of us. By creating a circumstances, he is removing all the unwanted things in our life. Similarly, one more circumstance was there in Bhagavatam. We see there was one personality by name King Vena. All of you would have heard about him. A person who was very notorious, cunning, whatever you say, all criminal of highest degree category he is. So his father wanted to train him up in all possible ways, but this boy is very adamant. He never wanted to change. The pleasure for him was when he was playing with his friends and all these things and all, he used to kill the boys as if they are like some toy animals or something like that. And he used to take pleasure in that. Sadist mentality, if you say. We all know sadist mentality. How they torture. Sometimes we see in most of the serials, wife will be sadist. She will be torturing husband live. He will be lively roasted. Like he is in a tandoor oven. Dina Dina Gandam. Or husband will be a sadist person. Or a person, random person. A serial killer. He will be a sadist person. He will capture people, torture them to their extreme limit, and he takes enjoyment out of that. King Vena is that category. Because it can correlate to us, because we have seen that personality. So King Vena is Bap of all that categories. So when father became so much detached from this negative perspective, he left the kingdom and vanished suddenly without informing anyone. Because he could not control his son, he could not change his son. When there is no alternative, this boy had to be made the king. And when this boy became the king, everybody in the country, they became afraid. Now Chanda Shashana person has become the king. Or a Tughlaq ruler has become the king. The thieves and rogues, they started hiding away because bigger thief has come on the top. They will not be able to survive. So he started implementing all crazy rules. He started directing the brāhmaṇas what they should do. At one particular point, the brāhmaṇas became so much offended by his behavior. They met as a group, they made a council, they gave a representation so that he can change in his attitude and which will be all good for the kingdom and people in general. When they went to present their requirement or submission, he started scolding them in a reverse way. He started updating them that king is supposed to be the representative of the demigods. So why are you people envious of me? Why don't you worship me? I am the supreme person here. So you are like leaving your husband and worshipping your paramour. I am here, right here, but you are worshipping somebody else. Like that he gave some 10-15 various reasons why he should be taken care. And finally one reason he says, Tasman man karmabir vipra Jai Shri Radha Govinda ki Yajadvam gadamatsaraha balimcha mahyam harata matto anya ko agrabuk puman. He is saying, King Vena said, Tasman, for this reason, O my dear Vipras, O Brahmanas, Mam Gata Matsaraha, you should abandon your envy for me. And Karma Bihi, by your ritualistic activities, Yajadvam, you should worship me. And Balimcha Mahyam Harata, and you should offer all the paraphernalia unto me. Ko Matto Anyah Puman, if you are intelligent, you should know there is no personality superior to me. Krishna is saying Matta Paratamanyat, he is saying Ko Anyah Puman Mattaha, there is nobody superior to me, he is saying. Agrabuk, I am the first one to accept all the oblations in the sacrifice. He is saying, I am the Supreme Lord, you should offer all your sacrificial offerings to me, he is claiming himself. As soon as the Brahmanas heard that he is offending the Supreme Lord, see, Brahmanas, when they hear their personal defamation or anything, any devotee, he will not be bothered. But if some other devotee or the Supreme Lord is been offended, they will not stand by. They will not keep silent. Then what happened? The Brahmanas, Maitreya Vacha, Ittam Viparyaya Matihi, Papiyan Utpatam Gataha, Anuniya Manas Tad Yachnam, Nachakre Brashta Mangala. So, Ittam Viparyaya Matihi Papiyan, his mind twisted, Viparyaya Matihi, because it went out of direction, who is an unintelligent person, the king, and Papiyan, because of his sinful tendencies. When will person mind becomes twisted? When you perform sinful activities. So sinful activities will impact your mind consciousness. Then Utpatam Gataha, one who had deviated from the right path. Brashta Mangalaha, one all good fortune has been bereft of. Nachakre Tad Yachnam, he could not accept the instructions of the Brahmanas, the sages. Anuniya Manaha, then the sages put before him with great respect, therefore he was condemned. See, the sages put forward in a humble way. Anuniya Manaha, in a respectful way, because the king is representative, they gave him the petition in a very submissive manner. But he decried their position. Itite asatkritastena dvijah pandita maninaha bhagnayam bhavya yachnayam tasmai vidura chikrudaha. So, O my dear Vidura, all good fortune unto you. Tena pandita maninaha, the foolish king who thought himself very learned. Pandita maninaha, I am the greatest learned person. Itite asatkritah dvijaha, he insulted the Brahmanas. Bhagnayam yachnayam, when their hearts were broken hearted by the king's words. Tasmai chukrudaha, they became very angry. Hantyam esha papa prakriti darunaha, he should be killed, hantyam. Papaha prakriti darunaha, he is a sinful person, papaha. And prakriti darunaha, he is most dreadful personality. Jivan jagat asau asu kurute basmasa dhruvam. If he leaves Jivan, he will turn the whole world into ashes because of his activities. Jagatam aso asu kurute basmasa dhruvam. Entire Jagata will become basmasaha. Because of his negative attitude, a whole world will be burnt to ashes. Nayam arhati asat vrutto naradeva varasanam. This asat vrutta, he is an impious person. And he is na ayam arhati naradeva varshanam. He is not worthy to sit on the position of that king. Yo adi yajna patim vishnum vinindati anapatrapaha. Without shameless, he is trying to darely insult the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they are saying the primary reason was he is insulting the Supreme Lord. He is decrying us, then he is insulting the Supreme Lord, our Master. Ko vainam parichakshita venam ekam rute asubam prapta idrusham aishwaryam yad anugraha bhajanaha. So, ko va venam ekam, but for this king Vena, rute ashubam, it's only inauspiciousness for him. Enam parichakshita, because of his blaspheming the Supreme Lord, Yat anugraha bhajanaha, by whose mercy we survive in this material world with prapta idrisham aishwaram, one is awarded all good fortune and opulence. By the mercy of the Lord only we are happy in this material world. But by accepting the mercy of the Lord, but he is decrying the position of the Lord, from whom he is taking. Ittam vyavasita hantum rushayo ruddha manyavaha nijagbur hunkruter venam hatam achyuta nindaya. Because of hatam achyuta nindaya, because of blaspheming the Supreme Lord, he was killed instantly. How? Nijagnur hunkruter venam, by their curse, which was like a thunderbolt. Do you know when the storms happen, thunderbolts come? Pidugul. So where does this, what do you say in English, that Pidugu? Huh? Lightning is only lightning, that striking happens. Thunderstorm, in the whole atmosphere is thunderstorm at that time. That specifically that fire, it's like a ball of fire, it falls upon. So some specific word will be there for that. So when that falls upon, the first thing which attracts is the palm tree. Most of the places, the palm trees are the recipient of that lightning striking, because they stand tall in the time, in the structure, and they will be receiving that burnt. So because he is tall, thinking himself beyond the Supreme Lord, so because the more the taller, the first thing to receive from the Lord in the form of this curse will be, you will be the first one to receive him. Because he is thinking he is the best personality, he will become the worst personality. So, Rushayo Ruddha Manyavaha, by coveting their anger, Ittam Yavashita Hantum, they decided to kill the king immediately. Venum Hatam Achyuta Nindaya, by blaspheming the Lord, he is already killed. Nijagnur Hunkruter Viha, without using any weapons, the sages killed Vena simply by high sounding words, which are like thunderbolts. Without using any weapon, just by a word, he was killed, dropped dead. Like, because when you offend a Vaisnava, you are lost in the life. The same thing Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter. This war is already decided. This Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Jayadratha, they are already killed by me. Now you have to just put it into implementation. Theoretically done, now practically you have to implement. The same thing happened here. Because of blaspheming the Lord, he had already brought upon misfortune. He had lost all his life. Just the result is awaited. And the brāhmaṇas gave that result instantly. So this is the nature of. See what happened? Is a brāhmaṇas cursing King Vena? It's benefit for him or a failure for him? Now for us, when we are hearing what it is to me, what I should take up from this, the seriousity of offending Vaishnavas or offending the Supreme Lord. The circumstances can be in such a way that the result will always be beneficial. The one more incarnation of the Lord became possible. Prithu Maharaj came and he delivered the whole earth. Because of his one sinful person, the entire people of the world became benefited by Prithu Maharaj's incarnation and his association. See in the positive perspective. Even this person, King Vena, because of Prithu Maharaj's devotional service, he was elevated from hellish life to go to heavenly planets because of having son of a Vaishnava category. Parama Vaishnava category. So, thing is, we have to be very careful in execution of our duties, not to offend personalities, verbally, mentally, manasa, vacha, karmana. And by chance, if there is anything, we should humbly accept, yes, I have done a mistake. Go forward and say, my dear Prabhu, I have done a mistake. Mentally, I would have thought negative about you, please forgive. Even though that person would not have known what I thought in my mind. Or else what happens? This mind can accumulate this information over a period of time and next moment it may come out in the words. And when it comes out in the words, we will be destroyed. Or our devotional service becomes hampered. So there was one personality in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates next generations. He is known as Ganga Narayan Chakravarti. So last time we heard about the two Brahmana boys, Harirama and Ramakrishna, how Narottam Thakura had influenced them and convinced them, Ramachandra Kaviraja, so that they became devotees, following the Shakta worshippers and leaving everything and all. They surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Now this Ganga Narayan Chakravarti, he is from the villages known as Gambila. So one day he was sitting near the Ganges on a raised platform and he was loudly chanting the Sanskrit slokas. He is a scholar of his era, of his place, a born Brahmana, orthodox person. So when he was highly shouting all these mantras and all, he was suddenly captivated by two boys who were passing by him, and they were slowly, softly singing Kirtana in a very melodious way. When he heard that sound, he became very much attracted to them by their bodily appearance, by their luster in the body, by their sharp and fine looks of a Vaisnava attire. Then he called them and he asked, "Who are you? Where are you coming from?" Then the boys explained them they are the sons of Shivananda Sarma, and their names were Harirama and Ramakrishna, and they are disciples of Narottam Thakur. So this person said, "Yes, you people have become of late very famous," in a sarcastic way, that you defied all the Vedic religious rituals and you are taking shelter of a Shudra, Narottam Thakur. In a criticizing manner, he is trying to put down the position of Narottam Thakur. So in the meantime, the boys were also very silent because they understood everywhere they go, this challenging attitude has been always be there. So in this challenging attitude, they became very soft and they started coming up in a soft way. They said, "My dear sir, whatever you have said, we would like to put forward." And they started explaining about the glories of devotional service, the glories of serving Vaishnavas, the importance of unalloyed pure devotion, the importance of aspect of taking shelter of Vaishnavas, pure devotees, and like that they started glorifying all the Bhakti Yoga principles, whatever they have heard in their Guru's association. They started systematically presented with Vedic references. So in the meantime, in the debating attitude when he was there, Ganga Narayan Chakravarti, but when they started hearing so clear instructions from these boys, he became mesmerized by their understanding. He started first admiring them of their depth of philosophy. He became a fan of them. But over a period of time, then he started putting forward his simple argument that these boys counteracted in a very nice way. That these instructions were going on, discussions were going on. It became afternoon. Then Ganga Narayan said, "Okay, let us go home. Let us have a break, eat something, and we'll continue discussion from there." They all went to Ganga Narayan Chakravarti's house. They had their lunch and they started discussions which went on till midnight. And gradually when he is hearing to them, his pride, what he is saying that I am the greatest scholar, started diminishing. He was amazed at the boys' spiritual understanding, and he was able to see they were so happy, they are full of love. And he was thinking, the greatest love what I had experienced is my daughter. And even me, I cannot describe my daughter in such a way that I will feel that so much happiness what these boys are describing about the Supreme Lord. Not even 1/10,000 tip of that happiness what these boys are experiencing, I have never experienced in my life. I have never shed a tear of ecstasy in my eyes. So he started thinking, what am I doing? So many years of my life, what I have been doing? These boys are experiencing such a high joy. What happened to my whole education, my Shastra reading, my discussions with various people like that and all? He became so disturbed in the situation, he broke down. He started asking the boys, "Please relieve me from this distress. Please, I wanted to be in that highest ecstasy state what you people are going through." Then the boy said, "Sir, this is only possible when you take shelter of a pure devotee." So then he said, "Then where is fortune for me? Where will I get that opportunity of association?" Then the boy said, "Tomorrow morning we are going to our Guru Maharaj, you can come with us and we will introduce you to him." So when that is done, whole night he was sleeping, but he was restless. So much offenses I have done, everywhere I have declared Narottam Thakur, but still, whether he will be pleased with me because I had offended him, I am such a low person, like that and all. He was thinking himself in a very humble way. But because of too much distressful situation, he could not have a proper sleep. But then somewhere in the early morning when he slept off, dozed off, then Narottam Thakur appeared to him in his dream and he said, "You are my eternal servant." His glowing effulgence and his personality, persona attracted him. And he said, don't bother, all your desires will be fulfilled. You'll come back to me, I'll take care of you. So he became a little relaxed. And next day morning, he, with the two boys, went to Keturi place. They went and had darshan of the deities. After darshan, they went to the room where Narottam Das Thakura was staying with in a discussion with other Vaishnava, other devotees and all, other followers and all. So they went and immediately paid obeisances. Then Ganga Narayan immediately, he was also very afraid to go inside. He was thinking, what will happen? But the next moment, when he saw the form, what he saw in the dream, and Narottam Das Thakura inviting him to come, he immediately went with all his inhibition, anxiety. He fell down at the feet, begged forgiveness, and started crying like a small boy. Then Narottam Das Thakura picked him up, touched him on his head, and embraced him and started speaking to him, like trying to pacify him. Then by the touch of Narottam Das Thakura, all his anxieties and all his fearlessness became vanished. He became very strong and he became very happy, and he became an ardent follower. From that day, he started listening to all the lectures and he started becoming devotional service, pick up pure devotional perspectives and all the secrets of Bhakti Shastras. He started reading the Goswami's literatures. So over a period of time, this message was spread everywhere that a brāhmaṇa of a highest category took shelter of Narottam Das Thakura. Then all the local orthodox brāhmaṇas, they became very angry. Some people were appreciating, but some people they started becoming very troubled, and they went and complained to the king, Narasimha, Raja Narasimha. They started putting a forward, you are supposed to protect the Varnashrama system. See what is happening, a Shudra is initiating a Brahmana. If you allow this, the whole kingdom will be lost. This will become you will become a laughing stock, joking personality. Like that, they started putting forward all negative perspectives. The king was also, because king was also hearing about, he thought Narottam Das Thakura was a great sadhu, he is a saint. But hearing all these negative perspectives, he was thinking, no, what should I do? He's in a dilemma. Then one of the court panditas stood up and he started explaining the glories of Narottam Das Thakura, of a pure Vaishnava and a pure devotional service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followers. When the Smartha Brahmanas, when they heard all these things and all, they became very disturbed. They started, Vak Vivada happened between this court pandita and these orthodox Brahmanas. So much so that the king has to relax him and said, all of you please be seated. We'll do one thing. They requested, what do you want now? The orthodox Brahmana said, you have a great scholar of your thing by name, Rupa Narayana. So we should take him and we'll have a debate with we'll have a debate with Narottam Das Thakura. Then Rupa Narayana was asked, he's also in a very silently said, let us go and see what it reveals. He is not in an aggressive mood, but in a happy mood. He said, let us go, let us talk and let us see. So the king also said, tomorrow morning I'll also accompany you, let us all go and let us see. In the meantime, message was passed on that the king is coming with his entourage for a debate. Narottam Das Thakura felt very sad, because why am I talking to people who are impersonalists, who don't have value for devotional service? He became very disturbed, seeing that Guru Maharaj very disturbed. Ganga Narayan Chakravarti and Ramachandra Kaviraja, they thought we should not distress our Guru Maharaj so much. So they devised a plan independently. So in between the village where they are supposed to come, there will be a halt called as Kumarapura. They thought, let us camp there. They dressed themselves as shopkeepers there. One was selling matkas, the other was selling palm leaves. And they took shelter there. As expected, the Brahmanas batch came there and they went to purchase all the ingredients for their cooking. So when they came to ask for what is the price of this pot, the devotees in disguise exclaimed the price in Sanskrit. And they were all shocked. A shopkeeper is speaking Sanskrit. And everything, whatever they asked, they were talking in Sanskrit only. The pan wala is talking in Sanskrit, the matka wala is talking in Sanskrit. The disciples, the Brahmanas who came there, they were very much carried away. And slowly the discussions became so much, they came to spiritual points. And when they came to spiritual points, Brahmana Vaishnava discussion happened, and so much so that all the followers of that orthodox Brahmanas were put to shame. People were all assembled. They were making laughing stock at this. The orthodox Brahmanas, they all suffered humiliation. They ran away from that place there. They went back to their guru and that leader, and they said, see, we have been defeated by two mere people who are just shopkeepers. These two people are just insignificant people, disciples of Narottam Das Thakura. So what if these two people are the capacity, then what to speak of his senior disciples? Then what to speak of Narottam Das Thakura? Let us wind up back from here and let us go home. Then that leader, he became very much offended. No, what do you think? He came forward and he put forward so many arguments, and it became such an official debate that the entire village was assembled there. And finally, even that head of the orthodox brahmana, he became very much silent. Then Rupanarayana was standing there silently, he was not talking anything. So understanding that Rupanarayana was not talking anything, he finally left that place, went back to the king and updated the whole history, what had happened, that transpired every day, that day. And king, after hearing that, then he had asked what to do. Then that brahmana leader, he said to Rupanarayana, why did you not talk? You were there next to me, you should have challenged, you should have come forward to support me. Rupanarayana said, see, I know what is their capacity. Once I had burnt my hands. He is the same person who went and challenged Rupa and Sanatana, give me a letter that you have been defeated. So without, they don't want to argue, they gave a letter, but Jiva Goswami came and slashed him left and right, put him to pieces. If one small bacha, means in front of Rupa and Sanatana, this boy, 16-year-old boy, Jiva Goswami had shattered me to pieces, then you can understand what is the potency in that parampara, in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers of pure devotees. So that's why I was very silent. I am instructing you, let us go back and let us not commit further offenses. But the brahmana was very much disturbed. He went back without even taking his food. He went to sleep. The whole night, next day morning, he immediately came forward and fell down at the feet of king and Rupanarayana and said, please forgive me. I was in a very negative attitude. The king was surprised. Rupanarayana was surprised. What happened? What happened? Then he started narrating. Next day night, when I went to sleep, Mother Bhagavati appeared in my dreams. And she said, I have offended the Supreme Lord's devotee. And I have become a greatest offender. I am going to be killed. She came with a chopper and she put it on my head. And she said, I am going to be chopped off. If I had not taken shelter of the lotus feet of Narasimha Das Thakura, me and all my things will go away. So I immediately became very fearful. That's why I came. Please, you have given me good guidance. Please, let us all go there and let us take shelter of Narasimha Das Thakura. Next day morning, they all went to Narasimha Das Thakura's place and they took shelter of Narasimha Das Thakura. Narasimha Das Thakura blessed them. And the perspective was all the brahmanas were relieved from that anxiety and they became devotional service and they started propagating pure devotional service. See, the small attitude in a Vaishnava perspective, the way, how do you respond? At that moment, I may be in a agitated mood, but understand calmly, understand the reality and take the practical guidance of other devotees and make our life successful. That's the perspective here. I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
You had explained that when Veena was made the king, so generally we hear that this king is a qualification, like Brahmana, Kshatriya, they are all qualification. So they made, because he is the son of the king, they made him the next king. So could you put a little light on this, how he became the king even though he was not qualified?
The sages thought there is no alternative. Till somebody is evolved, let him be the interim king. And by their association, by their guidance, they can transform him into a better personality, they thought. But this person, because of his envious attitude and negative mentality, he could not be transformed. He became even more offensive category. That's what Bhagavatam states there. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే